Morning YouTube. It is the 30th of September and the last day of the month, and as you can see it's a lovely morning. I've been tagged by the lovely Jackie from Gone Potty Gardening. Lovely lady. You pop along to her channel and have a look and give her your support and tell her that Alan the Dawn Chorus plotter sent you. She's tagged me on 3 things that I've learned this season. Well, you never stop learning, and I think this year I've learned more than I ever have, mainly because of YouTube and everybody's ideas that you pick up from watching and also from their comments as well. So one of the things I've learned myself is watering. I don't water enough, and I don't know why that is. There's 2 ways of watering really. You water it quite often or you let them get on with it, and personally I think watering more often is definitely better. Your plants keep growing, they're lush, and they don't get checked at any stage. Once a plant gets checked, it definitely isn't as good as if it keeps on growing naturally. So I'm definitely going to have to learn to water more often. That's one big thing I've learned this year. And don't put it off till tomorrow. Today it's got to be done. So that's the first thing I've definitely learned from this season. And I must say, on this season I've probably had my best ever season. In fact, no doubt about that. Everything's gone well. I don't think I've had a failure really. Some things haven't grown quite as I would like, but I wouldn't say I've had a failure at all. So it isn't very often that you can say that you've had an excellent season, and this year I definitely have. So touch wood, long may it continue, but you never know, next year it might be awful. So fingers crossed for that one anyway. My second thing that I've learned this year is sowing times. This year was a funny spring. We had some good weather in February and everybody jumped on the bandwagon, including myself, and we started sowing seeds and what have you. In the greenhouse and whatever could go outside as well. We had a week or so of real good weather, and then the bad weather came and things were queuing up in the greenhouse then, and then other things that sow on after that, you start getting a backlog. So you're holding things back in the greenhouse is full chocker, and things aren't growing as they should be and they're getting pot bound. So really and truly speaking, we should always sow by time and not by weather. But I'm guilty of it the same as everybody else, and that's one thing I've learned. If you're holding something back, it gets checked and it doesn't grow as well. Definitely not. And yeah, you end up moving things around, things get missed in the greenhouse. You should have put those out and you've forgotten. So that's another thing I'm going to try my best to do this time, is hold back no matter what the weather is, and sow by time and date rather than by what the weather's doing outside. And that goes hand in hand with keeping records as well, of when you sow things, which is what YouTube is all about. I can look back and see when I started sowing things last year and think on how they reacted to the weather and what time I sowed them and when I should have sowed them, and how things have progressed. So that's a good thing for YouTube as a reference as well. So sowing times is a big thing for next year, I think. If you can keep a plant, like I said with watering, keep it growing steadily and slowly and at the pace that it wants to grow, then you'll definitely get a better crop and a better plant. And obviously stronger plants, they're more immune to disease and pests, they can stand up to them better. So all in all, that's definitely a must for next year. And thirdly, something I've known for a long time really, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Many a time I've grown the best crops I've ever grown, and I've done them a certain way. I've planted them in a certain way, I've sown them in a certain way, and put supports up for them, and they've been absolutely perfect. And then next year I change it all and do it completely different, and then you end up with a crop that isn't as good as what it was the previous year, and you know why it's not as good. Also seeds, if they grow for you in your environment, in your garden, in your climate, that seed or that variety of seed is definitely for your garden. So don't go and change it, because if it worked last year, it more than guaranteed it'll work next year. I know the seasons are always a bit different, but also, you know, your ground, what's in your ground, your compost. If a particular variety thrives in what you've got, then stick to it. It works. I'm all for trying different varieties of certain things, but your main crops, if it works, stick to it. Celeriac last year for me, I think it was Monarch, was fantastic. The best I've ever grown. They were like this, they were tasty, they were absolutely perfect. This year I've grown a different variety and I've treated them no differently whatsoever, and they're nowhere near the standard of what they were last year. So that's the third thing that I've learned. So, and that goes along with keeping records as well. I need to be able to look around the garden and say that's the variety it is, and that's when I've sown it, which is I'm guilty of this year. And also it helps YouTubers as well when I'm doing a plot tour. So that's another thing that I must do for next year. And that's my 3 things that I've learned this year. Well, 3 of a lot of things I've learned this year. I'd like to nominate 3 other YouTubers to do the same challenge. The first one, if you've ever had a comment on your channel and it's made you feel great for the rest of the day, and it's really put a spring in your step, it's probably come from Chris at ACS. She comments on a lot of channels. I think she said she's subscribed to 300 channels, and her comments are wonderful. They're usually a paragraph long. You can tell she's watched all of your video because she comments on all aspects of it and throughout all the stages, and her glass is always half full. And thank you, Chris, for all your comments that you've given me over this season. It's been great. So if you would like to pop over to Chris's channel, which is ACS, that's capital A, little c, capital S, and check Chris out and tell her that the Dawn Chorus plot sent you. She's got a wonderful channel there. She takes some fantastic photographs, and she's well worth the watch. So if you would like to tell me, Chris, and everybody else, 3 things that you've learned over this last season. And my second choice is another lady. I hope I spell this correctly. I think I do. Benny L. BENNI.L. And she grows to absolute perfection. I think this is her first season on YouTube, and she's well worth a watch. Everything that she grows is absolute perfection. And if you follow her stages, and if you look in the background at what she's got going on, you'll pick up a lot of tips from Benny. And I also appreciate all your comments that you've given me over the last season, Benny. So if you would like to, in the way that you portray your channel, 3 things that you've learned over this season. Hello, Oscar. And the third person I would like to nominate is Steve from Digwell Greenfingers. Lovely chap, a real nice character, and if you pardon the pun, he really does know his onions. He's very well educated in gardening and also preserving and baking, and he's well worth a watch. Pop over and have a look at his channel. He really is knowledgeable on all aspects of showing, gardening, and also, like I say, preservatives, making cakes. And he puts a lot into the shows, and he does very well. So Steve, if you'd like to give me 3 things that you've learned over the last season, which are most important to you, would be very grateful. Thank you very much. And I shall let you go now. It's a beautiful morning, but I believe we're in for some rain. I'm off now till Saturday. I've got some holidays to use up. I'm back in at work on Saturday, so I'll get as much as I can done ready for winter, which, to be fair, I've got all my plots now with compost all over the top of them, so everyone now is ready for next year. I'm just waiting for some shallots to come and some overwintering onions to come through the post, and I'll get those in, and also need to get me broad beans in and my garlic. So other than that, I'm on top of the job. So thank thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, and please subscribe and thumbs up, and comments, they mean more to me than anything. Any criticism, anything I'm doing wrong, just let me know. That's what YouTube's about, and that's how we learn. Take care everybody, many thanks for watching. Thank you, bye bye. Yellow Wask.